Mainstream Metaphysics with your host, Nick Newmont.
Well, good evening. It is Tuesday, January 21st, 2025. Welcome to Mainstream Metaphysics. I'm Nick Newmont, and we are sitting here on a chillier night in Southern California. We can't make up our mind here. We go from fires now to chillier weather. For those of you that live in other parts of the country where it is cold, and I know cold. I'm from Western Pennsylvania. But when they come out in the morning and it's 39 degrees, I don't care where you live. That is chilly. And when the car is all frosted over and you got to defrost, that's chilly. Right, Ed?
Yes, sir.
Ed's from Chicago, so he knows exactly what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. And since it is me tonight, and I can talk about whatever I want, I do want to mention the fact that there are LA Rams, and I was wearing my Rams jacket last Tuesday night on the show, really as to honor LA. It really wasn't about the Rams. But I will say, the Rams are out of the playoffs. They lost to Philadelphia in bad weather. And, me growing up in Pennsylvania, I know weather affects games. I played in that nonsense. I know what it's like. I know what it does. And if you're not used to playing in it, then it's going to create havoc. But the point is, I have such an admiration for Sean McVay, the Rams coach. He was very classy in his press conference after the game. No excuses, no finger pointing. He was definitely disappointed. But it was really cool the way he said when the Rams were on their last drive, looking like they were on their way to scoring the winning touchdown, he said, "My vision the entire time was us winning 29-28. And he said that word vision, over and over again. So I don't think that is just a casual use of the word. I mean, these coaches nowadays and players do believe in inspiration, motivation, the metaphysical parts of things. And, for all those years, Phil Jackson, when he coached the Bulls and the Lakers, and he was called the Zen Master, people teased him for that. But he knew how to get into players' heads. And that's why, for me, as a little JV high school softball coach, I use a lot of reinforcement, positive motivation, and I don't berate or call the girls out in front of the players, fans, anything like that. I keep the criticism one-on-one. I address the team as to what we did, what we're going to do going forward, but it's all positive, and I think that's why McVay is a winner, and he'll win a lot more than he loses, with an attitude like that. So anyway, and good luck to the 4 teams that are left in the playoffs, and chances are at least one of those games is going to be played in bad weather. So we'll see what it does. So, as I sit here this evening, my friend Craig Shoemaker, he's not feeling well. He's okay. He's just got something going on that's he just wasn't comfortable, coming on the air, and that's fine. He'll reappear. He's okay. I was really looking forward to having Craig on the show tonight because this month, for Mainstream Metaphysics, is Mental Health Month. So, and Craig's, process of laphitation to help people pull themselves out of wherever they are, down in the doldrums or whatever they're working through, that's personal or catastrophic. He teaches you how to laugh your way through. So, we'll have Craig back on, and I could tell in our exchange he was disappointed that he couldn't come on the show. He's so much fun to have on the show, and I appreciate the fact that he works through a busy schedule to come and do my show. This isn't a paying gig for any of us, right, Ed?
Yes, sir.
So, but he'll be back, and I believe that this Saturday, Craig is performing at the Improv with some other folks this coming Saturday, January 25th. So I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And if you've seen Craig before, go see him again at the Improv. And if you haven't seen him, then do yourself a favor and go see him, because he is funny. And I remember seeing him as far back as like 1995 or 6 at one of those big events at the Universal Amphitheater on HBO. And his humor is timeless. When you listen to what he talks about, it's very hard to tell unless he's making a reference to something that's technological. Everything that he talks about, whether in terms of families, marriage, divorce, kids, coaching, people that he imitates, this is the best thing. This is a great compliment to Craig. His humor is relevant, whether you're 20 or whether you're 60-something. His humor is relevant. So anyway, we wish him well, and he'll be back. I look forward to having him back on the show. Now, interesting segue. So coming up, beginning this Monday night at the Newmont Center, we begin our 8-week course called Healthy Mind, Healthy Body. And this is for anyone, whether just a regular attendee, whether you're a practitioner that wants to incorporate this, into your work. And this is where we go through the body from the feet progressively all the way up the body to the head and talk about body syndromes. And body syndromes are where your emotions and thoughts have been detrimental to your physicality and created a situation, an illness, a problem in your body. And this is fabulous material. The PowerPoint that Audrey does for this is absolutely amazing. And it's available on Zoom or live. We have chairs still available at the center. First of all, the first week is free, okay? The first week is absolutely free to everyone that attends. Then weeks 2 through 8 are $40 per week, but if you pay up front, which would mean you're paying 6 times 40, 240, you get a free week, by paying up front. Listen to the health professionals that we have in store week by week. First of all, week 1, which is the introduction, that's Audrey and myself. And then week 2 is Justin Formanek, the massage therapist. He is speaking. Justin was on the show last week, and Justin really understands energy work, and also he is a massage therapist. So the crux of what he's going to be talking about is in and around the spinal column and the nervous system. Then in week 3, focusing on the second chakra and hormones, is nutritionist and hydrocolon therapist Eloise Buckner. We have talked about Eloise for years. I just saw her last Friday. She's amazing, and she's very funny. And I have to tell you, folks, to be a hydrocolon therapist, you have to have a sense of humor. Trust me. And I'm going to get something thrown at me for telling this joke, but Eloise knows her shit. Yeah, I went there. It's by myself tonight. I'm going to say whatever. Week 4, focusing on the stomach and all the digestive organs, is our good friend, Dr. Nancy Sachs, who Audrey and I just love, and the work she does. Week 5, centering around the heart, is Audrey's the main presenter. And then week 6, focusing on the throat, none other than Craig Shoemaker. A lot of emphasis on laughing, talking, and how we communicate. Week 7, which is the third eye and more of the idealistic or intuitive part, I'm the featured speaker that night, and finishing off the head, the brain, and the crown chakra as none other than our own Dr. Stephen Palmer. So we have a very impressive lineup of experts in their field in these areas of the body, and we hope that you can attend. Any questions about it, please get in touch with me or Audrey through Facebook or at the center. And you can go to our website at newmontcenter.net, or you could call Audrey at 818-665-6165, and then me at the center, 818-865-8770. And by the way, Audrey tomorrow night on Conscious Mind Tripping, her guest is Alexandra, who channels Golden Arrow. So really looking forward to that show, and I don't have the exact notes in front of me, but Alexandra will be appearing on here on Mainstream Metaphysics, and I'll figure that out, and I'll look at that down the road. Don't want to get sidetracked too much. And then next week here on Mainstream Metaphysics is the incredibly wonderful and talented actress Carolyn Hennessy, and who was on the anniversary show, but she's not going to be talking about acting or anything like that. She's going to be talking about the process that she alluded to on the anniversary show, called a practice that she has called hoodoo. But she's not going to be talking about... There, finally working. There we go. Now I can see who's watching. Hi, Audrey. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, Carolyn has this process that's pretty cool, and she's actually going to demonstrate it on me and see the effect that it has, and what that does. So please tune in tomorrow night for Audrey and Alexandra, and then next week Carolyn Hennessy. And Carolyn is so much fun to have on the show. She's such a big personality. She just fills the room. So really cool to have her. So, as we sit here today, and for those of us here in the Los Angeles area, Southern California, we're still coming out of recovering from these two huge fires that have hit, and people are still reeling. And one of the things that we talked about last week when Justin was on the show is people's curiosities. And if you have no business going in those areas, you don't live there, you don't really want to see, what that looks like, because it'll be incredibly shocking to go in and see the devastation and destruction that's going on there. As I've said before, I have a client who lost a home in the Palisades, and a good friend whose home, a rental property that she's owned for many years, was destroyed in Altadena. And the funny thing is, I talked to her at great length yesterday. Some of these people have to make a decision as to whether it's worth them going in and rebuilding their homes based on what the insurance covers and all this, the way this process works. Some people may just get land value and walk away and not rebuild. When people are faced with something like this, the emotion doesn't go away in a month or two. This is something that lingers, and there's the property devastation, but it's the destruction of the community. In other words, even if your house, and there are people that have this decision to make, people whose houses have survived, but all their neighbors are gone. And, you get used to the people that live across the street on either side of you, and the local stores that you frequent and patronize that are part of your local community. I mean, these things are not going to come back at the snap of a finger. And that's why it's not just a financial decision that some of these people will have, it's an emotional decision as to whether they ever really feel comfortable going back in there. And especially if they are of mature years and looking at whether they really want to rebuild, while they're going into golden years. Maybe younger people will look at it from the standpoint of, we have a lot of years ahead of us. So these are very intense personal decisions that people have to make. And as we've said, all of us at the Newmont Center are here for anyone who is reeling from this experience. This is challenging, and if you haven't been through something like this, you don't know what it's like. That would be like a guy saying to a woman when she says how painful, giving birth to a baby is, and a guy says, "I understand." No, we men don't understand that. We have no idea what that feels like. So continue thoughts and prayers, and our hearts go out to these people that are, and some people still can't get back into their neighborhoods, so they have no idea, what they're coming back to, in any way, shape, or form. And it seems like the numbers of loss of life have gone up. So it's Southern California is going to be a while, rebuilding literally and figuratively. And then now, not lost in this, especially for people in most of the rest of the country. We're under a new administration now. And that's certainly going to bring a lot of change, because Donald Trump, that's what he does. He creates change. He sees things. He recognizes what needs to be done, and he does it. Now, one of the things that, in speaking to my audience, that I want everyone to understand. Well, for me, first of all, I sit right down the middle. I'm nonpartisan, but going into the election, the people for Trump, against Trump, the changes that need to be made are going to take some time. So for the people that are pro-Trump, you have to be careful yet that you don't over-celebrate and project all the things you believe that are going to happen, because there has to be a lot of cooperation to create some of the things that are, let's say, desired to happen. So we don't know how long some of those things will take and whether they really get done or not. And for the folks on the other side that were against Trump, that's for those people to be open-minded and really look at why they were against him and open to the changes moving forward that actually could be for their benefit. So it's kind of like playing it a little more down the middle on both sides, and having a bit more of a patience and a wait and see as this moves forward. Because I see both sides. I mean, I've witnessed in conversations with people extreme both sides to this. So that was my inspiration for saying this. I hadn't thought about that until recently. But I think we need to reel it in from both sides, because for some time we've experienced this extreme polarization, which doesn't help anything. It just makes things more challenging. And the more we come to the middle from both sides, the better things are going to be, and the easier things are going to be as we move through the process of making things better. We in this country have a long way to go, and there's a lot of things that will happen along the way. Keep in mind, folks, that when I was talking leading into February of 2023, that there was a shift in the finances of this country when this chart of the United States of America was having a Pluto return, which happens every 249 years. And remember that many years ago, Merlin referred to the economics and the financial system of our country as old machinery that was moving too fast and was breaking. And a new system had to be put in. And that's part of what we are witnessing. There's a lot of conversions in terms of banking, a quantum financial system. And I know that a lot of people don't understand cryptocurrency, but there are currencies that are not so mysterious, like XRP, which is crypto gold, and XLM, which is crypto silver. These are part of the way countries are going to trade and do business. It would be as if, you went to the bank and there was a new denominational coin or, piece of paper bill was printed or minted, and you would be using that. And a lot of people are uncomfortable and kind of freaked out by, cryptocurrency. There are a lot of people that want nothing to do with Bitcoin and things like that. But the XRP is going to be the foundation for the way a lot of countries trade. So, you keep your eye on that. And this is part of us being progressive so that we can move past the way banking has been done for a couple hundred years, which is just very antiquated. We have to have a new system. When I was a kid, a lot of you that are watching the show know this, that we used to be able to do what was called kiting a check, where you could write a check knowing that there wasn't enough money in your account to cover it, but it would take about 5 days to get to wherever you mailed it. And by the time they deposit it, and all deposits were registered by hand, that's what bankers had to do back in those days. Your check was covered. You didn't have to worry about it. Nowadays, everything is done electronically. And if you move money from one bank to another because you have multiple accounts, you better have money in there, because just by the fact that you've walked in the other bank, they're pulling money out of the other account. So everything is moving faster now. It's all done. We used to say it's all done on air, okay? And you look at the New York Stock Exchange, the Dow Jones Index, that it's over 44,000 now. Based on what? It's just based on projection and supposition. It's not based on real economics anymore. And one thing that is for sure, and by the way, hi, Beth, Cola, Becca, Bridget, all the B's, Beth, Becca, Bridget, all watching. Thank you. Appreciate it. And I even just got a text from a guy named Brad. So it's B night, okay? I guess this is a B show, Ed. I guess I didn't bring my A game tonight. Oh yeah, Audrey's watching. So it is. There is my A game right there. So there's so many different changes that are coming that are actually for the betterment of things. And when I did the show a few weeks before the election, and I had predicted that that Trump was going to win, and I was very specific as to why he would win and why Kamala would lose. One of the things that I pointed out on that show was the chart of the United States of America looked very good as we get into this spring. Very good. So, and I maintain that it is going to be a good financial year. So, there's a lot of different things, a lot of different ways that improvement can present itself, and it's really good to on a metaphysical, spiritual level, hold a space, for everyone involved, that things get better and things improve. It's what you believe is what you put out there, and that has an effect on everybody. I watch people, even when things are good, I watch some people, clients, presenting a very pessimistic approach to things. And it just baffles me when a person has all these good things going on, but they still step back into worry. Well, what about this? And I don't have this. But you have all of this. This is what's going on. This is what's happening. Look at what you have. That's really the key. If you when it comes to the magic of money, it's what you envision. It's how you think about it. Do you think about money in a positive way or a negative way? Well, one thing's for sure is that when we get deep into the month of March, and I don't have that exact date in front of me, Audrey and I are going to do the Focus on Success workshop. And if you find that money in whatever means is a challenge for you, you'll want to take that workshop because it can take your success level through the ceiling. So, anyway. All right, so since I don't have a guest tonight, what I said to Audrey when I was on the phone with her earlier, maybe I'll take live calls tonight. And she said, that's a great idea. So, Ed, do you have the ability to type on the screen?
Yeah, I think I can.
Okay, I'm going to give out the phone number that if people want to call, and I'm going to do cards tonight, not numerology. I'm going to do some quick cards. And the number to call is 818-865-8770. 818-865-8770. And that is this phone that's sitting here. If you have a quick question that you would like to ask, call me. I'm going to do it via cards. As I'm doing this, there we go. Looks good. Operators are standing by. I want to point out something, and God bless Becca. She wasn't able to find this, but, Becca Hennessy told me recently that when I was doing a reading for her, which I believe was in October, around her birthday, that I predicted the fires. And I wish that I could give you more specific information about what I said. I hardly remember saying that. And at some point, she will go back and listen, or she can also articulate that a little bit better than I can, because she was there when I said it, evidently, allegedly. And that's one of those things where I really don't want to be right about. And I guess I said something to the effect that, she was okay, but I guess I kept saying I see all this fire all over the place. And then it was just, not too long after that. And I think after that there was the fire out around Camarillo, and then of course the ones that we've recently experienced. Again, if you'd like a quick reading, 818-865-8770. I'll answer a question. Back in September, I did a private readings at an event. It was sort of a health event that was held at someone's house. And we've done this before, where this individual brings a lot of people in, and they'll have readings with me, and they also get massage or different kinds of health treatments. And I guess I told this one man that he would be moving from the Palisades, and he thought, no, there's no way I'm moving from there unless there's some kind of catastrophe. And he has reached out to me wanting to get another reading. So, I know, and it's not the kind of thing that I'm into predicting catastrophes. I don't tend to be a tabloid psychic, because I don't look for that kind of publicity. Although I can imitate Fred Flintstone falling over in a car when the rack of ribs is put on there. Ed knows what I'm talking about. Yep. So if you are watching and you'd like to call in, there's the number on the screen. I will talk to you for a few minutes and see what's going on. And in the meantime, what I can do is somebody's throwing the giggles up there. All right. And I don't advertise myself as a medium in the same way that Catherine Glass does that, but I did that for someone and definitely tapped into specifics around a sibling that passed away due to an accident, and I was able to relay messages from him. But I don't, like I said, I don't advertise that. That's something that Catherine Glass does, and does quite well. Boy, everybody's shy. Okay. Well, here's what I'll do. I'm going to do a spread on, let's say, the next 6 months on things in the United States under the new administration. How's that? Ed, is our overhead good to go? Oh, it is. Wow. Look at that. Yeah, Ed's so good with the camera. We appreciate Ed. Okay. So here we have the page of Pentacles. Okay. Now, this means right away there's a message or good news about money. All right. Pentacles represent money. And then covering that, we have the Six of Pentacles, which means that as money, people in need will get their money. Okay. Now, underneath this, okay, and I have to do it in such a way so that I stay on the screen, in the past, and this is the people of the United States, we have the Nine of Swords, which is nightmares and processing their demons, okay? Losing sleep. Now, in the recent past, that's this position in the Celtic cross. Oh, the people made a decision, okay? Swords are all about ideas, intense things, worry, okay, thoughts. And so in the past, the decision had to be made, all right? Now, in the attitude of the people, we have the High Priestess, okay? So when you see the High Priestess, she doesn't compromise her strength, her power. She doesn't give into temptation, all right? And so for this means that people have a wait-and-see approach to things as we move forward. Now, in the immediate future, this card, well, we have the Six of Wands, which is a victory parade. So there is cause to celebrate very soon. The seventh position, this card, is the Psyche, all right? And the Page of Swords is people asking if they're getting the truth. And I think that is something that the American public has been asking for some time, is are we being deceived? Are we getting the truth? And as I've been saying to people and on this show for some time, the truth is we don't know what the truth is. And so this is the position of the people. Now, the next card is referred to outside influences. Oh, so we get the devil, all right? So this means that people have to pay attention to what they let themselves get drawn into. This is Adam and Eve basically being tempted, all right? Now, in the hopes and fears, people want to move forward away from troubled times, but at the same time, a little bit of a fear of, where's that going to take us? And in the outcome, we have the Queen of Swords. So it's interesting that somewhere in all this, there is some, and I don't know all the cabinet members yet. I haven't familiarized myself with all of them, but there's evidently a female who's going to have a big impact on what happens with things. And the Three of Pentacles, I throw an extra card, means there's a lot to know and a lot to learn about money. So I'll have to go back and see, because there are a couple significant women on that cabinet. But this is fascinating. But the first card out, which is the Page of Pentacles, it means that there's good news about money, and people that need money are going to get help. And out here, this is the information on money and how to handle the money. Interesting, isn't it? I want to speak about something that Merlin said to me recently. People ask me that. They say, does Merlin come and talk to you? And yes, he does, on a regular basis. And this is what he told me. So we bring the Devil card up. There's a lot of references in theology and superstition about the individual referred to as the Antichrist. And this is what Merlin said, that at this point, it's not just about one person. He said it's about several, that we have to be mindful about individuals, not one individual, that could lead people astray. And he went on to say that, and it's not just people in power or people in business, that we in the metaphysical and the spiritual realm have to be mindful of the characters that would give us a bad name, that people present themselves as good and spiritual, but they lead people down the wrong path. When you are of a metaphysical nature, there's a lot of energy and a lot of power that you possess. And Merlin told me many years ago, about 25 years ago, that possessing this is constructive as well as destructive. And one must know their intentions when having these abilities. And when individuals allow their ego to take over and become too involved, that is just like Star Wars, the dark side, that the power of the dark side, it's there. And it's very seductive. And these kinds of energies and powers are not meant to be for one's own, bidding. In other words, people have asked me many times, why can't I go and just tune in and pick the lottery numbers or go to a casino and win a lot of money that way? That's because that's not what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to do what we do, earn a living for doing this, but help others along the way and put people on their right path, help people get on the path, not make decisions for them, but help people, get to their goals and their aspirations. So this whole thing about, speaking of anti-Christal energy, it's individuals, multiple people, not one. It's not one. So and when you are, and the way the cards came out, of a mindset where you're not sure of the truth, then you have to know the truth within yourself, not necessarily the truth of what other people are saying, because you can feel the truth or not. You know what that is, and if something is coming your way, and you're not quite sure of something, then let it go. Remember, Merlin has said for years that there's a component to human nature where we will find out how bad it can be, and we don't need to do that. If we sense something isn't right intuitively, leave it alone. Move on to the next thing, especially in romantic endeavors. People, because the person looks good, smells good, has possessions or a job that's very favorable, they have a tendency to not pay attention to their instincts. I heard from a client of mine, and this person lives in another country, so don't hear from her on a regular basis, but she was in a relationship with a guy that every indicator was there that he was being unfaithful. And it's very challenging to tell someone that they are their partner is cheating on them. As it turns out, he was. We do have a caller. My goodness. Hello. Welcome to Mainstream Metaphysics.
How are you, Nick?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Great show again. I always love listening to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So I have a couple of questions if you have some time.
I sure do.
Well, here's the thing. I had a thriving business, and all of a sudden, there's nothing going on. I've got to tell my employees that there's no work right now. Can you tell me when or if it's going to open up?
Okay, we will do that. We'll find out what's going on and we do know with the fires, certain businesses have been hit even if they're nowhere near the fires.
Yes, that's absolutely true.
Okay, so we're going to put our focus and attention on the reality of the circumstance and see where this leads us. When it comes to these fires, and let me say this, because no one that's lost a home or property is going to look at it like this. But when I bless properties and we use the cauldron, that part of that says, I consecrate with fire. And fire has a purging and cleansing effect, as in the phoenix bird. And so this is on that level, on a mystical level, a tearing down and rebuilding. And I don't mean that just in a literal way, because thousands of people are affected in this situation, but there is a purging effect that this does have. Okay, so we're going to look and see what's with your business. Okay, so first of all, for you, and we have the Page of Cups, which means that you also have to trust your own instincts to the messages that you receive. And this is covered by the Queen of Wands, which means that you are the boss, okay, in this situation.
Okay.
And you are very passionate about this work. Now, in the past, we have the King of Pentacles, which means in the past, this business has flourished, okay?
Yes.
And in the recent past, up until this point, there was business there. There was business in the works that it just didn't get there, but there was business to be had, okay?
Okay.
Now, when I throw the next card, which is the attitude, this could be you or it could be your employees, okay?
Okay.
The Seven of Cups. See, this is choices. This is the what do I do card, okay?
Okay.
So this means that everybody, including yourself, is looking at this from the standpoint, what do I do? But the Seven of Cups also creates confusion because it's a lot of different choices, all right?
Okay.
So we want to stay out of the confusion on this.
Right.
Now, in the immediate future, we have the Eight of Swords. Now, see, this is called mental imprisonment. This means that everybody involved is kind of fearful, all right?
Right.
But if you look at, in the background, there is a castle there, okay? Which means that is going to be built, okay? So you have to look at this, even though this card is gray and bleak, your dreams have to be castles in the sky. All right?
Okay, so I have to just envision a little bit more?
Yes. Okay? Now,
Okay.
in your psyche, okay, is the 8 of Cups, which means that there's a part to you that looks at it like it still can be good, but there's something missing. Okay, did some employee or employees walk away?
It's so ironic. I had one person who just moved, and another one that just stopped calling and stopped showing up. Yeah.
Okay, so anyone that removes themselves, let them go. Okay.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
we have to honor the fact that here's the 8 of Swords, which is really pessimism, which leads to the 8 of Cups, which means there's an emotional decision made to walk away. So you let them walk away, all right?
Right. Okay.
Now, in outside influences, we have the 7 of Pentacles, which means the business is gradually going to come back. So when you see the 7 of Pentacles, this means that there's one pentacle, like fruit, is fallen off the tree, and then there's 6 more on the tree that just can't be picked. So in other words, the business is forming again. You just don't see it yet. And he's leaning on his hoe or his shovel, okay? So be ready to work, okay? Now, in the hopes and fears, you have the Moon, which means that this is going within the subconscious, going, where is this going to come from?
Right.
All right?
Okay.
Now, in the outcome, we have the King of Cups, which means that this is all about feeling and emotion. And this means that there is this person in the King of Cups. This is not an employee. This is someone, it's similar to you in the business, that's a peer that is about to get business going again. And that leads to the 10 of Pentacles, which means that if you give this time, business is going to explode.
Oh, wow.
So the 7 of Pentacles tells you to be patient. So when you look at this, we have in the past, we have the King of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles, we have the 7 of Pentacles, and the outcome, the 10 of Pentacles. Well, this is business and money. And 4 of the 11 cards are Pentacles. So,
wow.
So there is someone that helps get your guys busy, and he is going to see that the business comes back. Okay?
That's great. Can I ask a quick follow-up with that one?
Sure.
So I know that there's this tragedy that's happened in Los Angeles, and people have lost their homes. And, it affected me on a very emotional level, as many of us have. And I have guys that are trustworthy that could help some of these people rummage through the ashes, help them start to slowly clean up. But it feels a little weird for me to put that out there because I have to charge. And how do you charge somebody when they just lost everything? Am I looking at it the wrong way?
In the situations where people are, first of all, let me say, your concern about this is very noble, okay?
Okay.
But in situations where people are going to get insurance money, these, and you're going to start to hear about this just by watching the news, that people are being helped, that you will be able to put it out there as I would say, like an advertisement that your guys do this.
Okay.
And it won't be directly contacting people. It'll be putting it out there that they're available to assist with cleanup.
Right.
And that will be appreciated. there's a certain amount of, situations where big heavy equipment is going to be needed, but there's times where guys can go in and be a part of helping get stuff out of there that,
Sure.
that can be taken to trash dumps and things like that.
Right.
But I see things moving forward, and once business establishes itself, and it's going to come back in steps. Don't look at it from, well, it's not where it needs to be yet. Just look at it that business is coming back.
Okay.
But you definitely have to be the boss,
Okay.
and the work will come to them in different forms, different types of work, not just what they've been doing.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it.
Thank you for the call. Good luck with
Oh,
everything.
absolutely. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Surely.
Take
Okay.
care.
You too. Good night. Wow. Yeah, and look, this is, in looking to help people. Yeah, there are people that are really in a bad way right now, and we're not going to. No one's going to solicit them, but there are also people that will rebound and will need help and will gladly pay for that help. It's like, but I wouldn't go into those areas like soliciting like that. I think we're going to get a good idea of the timing of when to approach people as to, the kind of help that they would desire in moving forward. I think that by offering help, you're showing people that you care. It's not really about reaching into their pocketbook. We still see cases where people are having to protect their homes against looters. And it's that just baffles me that the characters are out there that would not only light fires but really take advantage of people. And I think you're going to see people like that brought to justice very fast. I mean, yesterday, I think it was yesterday, that there was a small fire that was lit in Griffith Park, and that fire was brought down fast, very fast, and there was a guy that was arrested short after for arson. So the authorities are not going to tolerate stuff like this. As much as the individuals like to fly drones, the authorities have the ability to survey what's going on and watch who's doing what. We have about 7 minutes left on the show. If you would like a reading, call in to, there's the number on the screen, 818-865-8770. I'm doing your cards this evening, which is fun. I don't normally do cards. I do numerology because it's easy and quick. I can't see your hand, so I can't do palmistry tonight. It's funny. Yeah, I heard that, Ed. Ed's laughing back there. When right before that caller came through, I was referring to my client from another country that had friends looking out for her and discovered that her live-in boyfriend, not just a boyfriend, partner of a chunk of years, in her absence was having affairs. And I was clued into some of the things that he was doing. And with her in sessions, I definitely questioned why he was doing some of those things and why he was liking that kind of lifestyle when he was in a monogamous relationship under one roof. Here comes a call. Here we go. Welcome to Mainstream Metaphysics.
Hello, this is your wife calling. I have a question for somebody else. Can I ask a question for someone else?
Yes, can I predict what's for dinner?
No. So I have somebody that I know who's having a very, very challenging time, and there's a possibility of her being able to move to live with a relative. And the relative, unfortunately, just had a serious injury. So I'm looking to see if there is a bright spot in her future and give her some good, positive information.
Okay. All right. Is
she going to be able to go and live with this person, or maybe there's something even better for her, or what
is this person you're talking about? Is she suffering emotionally or physically?
Both.
Okay. All right. Let's see what's going on for her.
Okay.
Okay. First of all,
put you on hold and move over there. All right. Yes.
Okay. First of all, she's getting some good news about money. Okay?
Yay.
So there's something that's about to come to her that's very unexpected. All right?
Mm-hmm.
She's got to learn to get out of her own mental imprisonment. All right? She does get in her own way. Okay? There was a time when things were good, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. And yes, recently, she's had some challenging decisions to make recently, okay? And sometimes decisions don't go away. You just have to take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
Her life is about to have a fresh start. All right, and this is good. This is good for her vitality. Let's see here. So, if she feels like there is some form of inspiration that she's getting, she needs to follow this. In other words, kind of like following the stars, and she needs to commit.
Okay.
Let me see here. Okay, so for her, there's was her mother kind of like an icon for her or something?
Yeah, she was very close with her mother. Her mother literally just passed away along with her other mother, who was her aunt.
Ah, okay, because that's in her psyche. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the circumstances that are going to come her way may come off like the choices would be counterintuitive. In other words, it wouldn't make sense, but that's the thing to do. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Her fear in this is too much focus on what's lost, not what is there. Okay?
Okay.
So there is an opportunity for a fresh start in a living situation. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It does involve moving, definitely. And she has opportunities. See, here is, the universe is stepping in. Here is the offering, and here is the move. Okay?
Okay.
And the circumstance that you're asking about will work out.
Oh, good.
But she has money coming from somewhere, unexpected money.
Good.
Yep.
She needs it.
Well, there's something that's going to drop in her lap.
Oh,
So,
nice.
yep. I
Okay.
think that this is my sense as I look at this. With her mother passing, I think there's money that she's not aware of that's actually legally coming her way, and she just doesn't realize it yet.
Oh, great. Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for the call. And that takes us right up to closing time. All right.
Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you. Thanks for calling. Well, what a good way to finish. You know, I like to be able to give good news, as I said on referencing a couple readings I've given people recently, that there were some challenging things that showed up in their life, and those are things like that I don't like being right about, but those are things that do happen in life. Anyway, it's 7:01. I need to jump off. Thank you for everybody that's been watching. I see you who's looking in on the show. Please tune in to Conscious Mind Tripping tomorrow with Audrey and Alexandra. We'll see if Golden Arrow speaks. I'm sure they will. And next Tuesday night, right here, watch with Carolyn Hennessy as we learn how to do hoodoo. Okay? I've seen her do it before. It's really cool. Thanks again. And even more so, as I say at the end of every show, take care of yourselves, but please take care of each other. Everybody needs something a little extra these days. Good night, everyone. Thanks again.